Right. Copy. Okay. Make this one a little bit smaller. Okay. And YouTube Studio. Actually, perfect. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Okay, let's check the quality. Looks solid, even at 1080p. I mean, that's not perfect, but solid enough. Yep, good. Very, very good. Gonna make it pop. That's the first time nobody joins a live stream. That's weird. Probably it's because of the good weather. Everybody's enjoying themselves. Choppy ranges, but that's expected. Dotted, and here we are. Mm. Yep, 2 minutes to the unemployment claims number. Sausage. Hello, Oko. Do you have a trade on? Yo, Luca. No, that's not true. Luca is another one. Man, I'm blaming the bad weather. The good weather, actually. Everybody's doing something else. Not in front of charts. Oh, come on. 50 seconds. I mean, GU is a fucking mess. There's literally nothing that I can do in GU. Euro, it's weird because it didn't eat anything higher time frame enough to say, oh, it's gonna reverse. But again, I don't consider anything near good. I mean, there's this order block, fine, but where's the fair value gap associated with it? It's not there. Therefore, don't care. But for fun, we'll just mark it. I mean, it's gonna be interesting to see if this news actually makes price break out of this choppy range, or they still have to wait for Powell testifying again before they can really send it. I want to think that this news will actually make price move, and then Powell maybe can do a reversal, whatever. But yeah, got released 20 seconds ago. Yeah, this is extremely choppy. Mino-like. Okie dokie. Yay! It's going higher. Fantastic. And now it's time to reverse. Because I mentioned this was gonna go higher. Um, I mean, today Euro was the choppiest of things. GU was a little bit better, and everybody on Twitter I saw that Murder. Ah, you want Murder? That means lower? Come on, man. It's my currency. Have some respect. Not just because yours dropped 110 pips. Mine has to drop too, eh? I mean, you have a wild currency. Look at this shit. I mean, this is the futures contract, my bad. I mean, it went all the way up. This is previous week's high. Didn't even care to hit that. Said, nope, not today. It dropped all the way into the London's low. That's, I don't know. If you are short from here, that's good, but from a price action perspective, this is ugly. London low, tagged, and now it stays in the range. And the range it's staying in, I think it's basically this one, right? Yeah. But I mean, only have 50%, otherwise it's too messy. Oh, you know what? I will do... No, that's okay. Bounce from 50, bounce from 50. Other than that, there's nothing. Like, this is where I'm a total noob in trading. If I don't see the displacement, I have no idea what to do with price. Yeah, I'm a noob in charts and also other stuff. Yeah, well, yeah. Terrible at bad, terrible in bed, um, terrible boyfriend, even worst son. I never do the dishes. My God, this is being held so much. Another crazy one. It's fucking Euro GBP, of course. Yeah, the dishes. I mean, I was short in Euro GBP here after we took some buy-side liquidity on the daily up here. He broke down aggressively, and that's what I like to see. Breaker, he came back in, I sold short, and then he stayed in the range. Said, okay, fine. And my rule stayed that 5 minutes before, or actually just before the news, I have to collapse the trade. And I do it 5 minutes before because the spread is not that high yet. I collapsed it at 63, which is here, and then it immediately went to take profit, which was these equal lows. But it's not only the equal lows, it's this candle high after it moved through it. When it came back in, it immediately rebalanced this level. So there were two confluences for that level to be hit. You can see if it's like this, price is not likely to stop there. It's just gonna sweep the liquidity and then go. And of course, it went to the old fair value gap. Yay! And as it wasn't enough, this low to this high to this low, the breaker. And if we just mark it maybe on the H1, so that's gonna be clean, and only do the body, because why not? Then it went ping pong from this level to this level, and this is the weekly imbalance. So that was cool, but and I think it was the best one to trade, simply because Dix is consolidating, so crosses will tend to move nicely. But other than that, didn't find anything. Even if I load up now indices, let's see what's up there. But of course with the electronic trading hours, please. Okay. Even here, not much. Everybody's waiting for Powell. Fine. Fine. It's gonna be another 1 hour and 30 minutes of nothingness. Beautiful. This was a fucking perfect example. Anyway, sì, Samu, sono italiano. Come va? Tutto bene? Oko, don't get too emotional about my accent. Benone, benone. Mi fa piacere. Oko, don't get too emotional about my accent. Prova, prova. Ah, mamma mia. Yeah, exactly. Super Mario and Mamma Mia. Let me check the secret sauce. Bonds! Perfect. In a consolidation. So utterly useless. Like 100% useless when they're like this. Yeah, no problem, no problem. I muted myself and everything is fixed. Or you muted yourself. All good. Quindi Samu, fai anche tu trading? Da quanto? Dammi un po' di feedback. E soprattutto che stile usi. And for you, Oko, I mean, we were speaking a few minutes ago, a few hours ago about support and resistance. I mean, well, if you are serious about it, and I think you were, just do it. Just do it, and if you have the time, report back to me because anything related to price action, it's exciting to me. So please share it. Ciao, ciao trader Toa. Non so cosa possa significare Toa, però va bene. Look at M15 Geo, sure. M15 Geo, let me actually load it here. Remove everything. Qualche anno applico concetti ICT con qualche perla personale che abbiamo sviluppato con i ragazzi con cui lavoro. Bello, bello. È il mio nick. Ah, ok, perfetto. So yeah, I'm in GM15. It's been a long time since I watched Support and Resistance, so I have no idea what to look for. But I don't know, these eyes or these support now broken turns resistance. Okay, just before news, all right. So here, 655. Qualche perla personale. Oh, you're right, you're right. I went into the other time frame. Qualche perla personale, I mean, non mi dai qualche info in più, anche se penso che tu non possa darle dato che è qualcosa di personale. The swing low before the news. Hello, Samuel. I'll answer you in a bit. Just give me a second. The swing low just before the news on the M15. The swing low just before the news. I mean, it gotta be this one. This is the swing low before the news. And if it's not this one, I'm just stupid. Well, if it's not this one, it's this one, which is pretty much the same. So, Samuel, you are asking how do you know that is going to move a certain direction for quite some time? Okay. First of all, let's start with the simplest of things that nobody, this is just a probability game. So what I'm about to say it's not gonna work 100% of the times, but it's just the rules I use for price action, okay? And usually the higher the time frame, like if I take a weekly level, so say this breaker, okay? This low, this low, this is the candle in the middle, this is the bullish breaker. since we are moving away from a weekly and we are bullish and we have a drawn liquidity up here and actually up here too before we reached into it, I'm expecting, since it's moving from the weekly, that this move is going to be probably lasting 5 to 6 weekly candles, unless we really have volatility and whatnot. Intraday, really, it's all about the news. So I'm expecting consolidation in markets that have news, like in New York. For example, let me pull up this stuff from yesterday. So all of this, we will go into Euro USD, and I'll show you what I mean. And this is fairly simple stuff, nothing complicated. This is the economic calendar for yesterday, and we have news at 2 for GBP, but we don't care about this because we are doing analysis on Euro. And then we have Powell speaking at 10, okay? So I'm gonna mark 10, which is here, not this one, but this one. And you can see that from when we opened at 2, or when Frankfurt opened, we stayed in a range. And since this is consolidating, when the news releases, I'm expecting lots of volatility that can continue throughout the session, the current one, and the following. And from this breakaway here, we basically had a very nice run. And for Euro, 80 pips is not something completely useless. It's actually a daily range. So we can use actually the same thing today. Powell will speak again at 10. So that means that we can expect most of the volatility at 10. Instead of trying to guess where it's gonna go, I'd say if you are bullish, it's safer, in my opinion, to wait for the raid on liquidity, either this one and this one. If you have supporting SMT with TXC, even better. And then when it starts displacing, so basically does maybe something like this, and then there's a displacement, you just place the retracement here. You just play it. When it comes back in, you buy, no fear, and you expect a move here. Does this work 100% of the times? Of course not, but it's consistent. It's rather consistent. And we can see an example of this very thing on GBP/USD today, where we have an H1 for value gap. The bias was bullish because we have this buy side liquidity in here, and notice it didn't even hit that, but it was close enough. So I mean, if at this point you still have your stop to break even, you have to reconsider your actions. Once we feel this imbalance in here, the same pattern I was talking about, which is really nothing crazy. This one here is happening here. We have the low, we have the break, comes back in, and you can basically enter. Now in this case, I mentioned 2 swings low, but it's the same thing. It's just all that matters is that there is a higher time frame, call it point of interest, call it PDA, call it support and resistance. It doesn't make a difference. Only thing that matters is usually reversal happen at these areas. So once you know that, you wait for your entry pattern. That for me is the fair value gap. If I can blend the fair value gap with any other PDA, like a breaker, order block, or a stop run, that's even better, but it's not required. My voice is completely going. Alive. So I hope I answered that. Se guardi GU H1, pure se ha preso il low in news, non lo considero più un B quello, non lo considera. Se parli di me, se lo considero, non considero l'order block di per sé, ma il fair value gap sì. Poi vabbè, chiaramente se fa così e poi chiude così, l'order block non è invalidato. Cioè secondo me non lo è, perché voglio vedere una chiusura sotto. Dato che non è successo, va ancora tutto bene. Sostanzialmente abbiamo sviluppato un concetto di AMD affiancato a determinate fasce temporali, accumuli, manipolazione e delivery con precisione al minuto. Figo, molto bello. L'hai fatto tramite i documenti di CLS Group, il Fadewire? Oppure sono degli orari inventati, comunque presi con, non lo so, magari Fibonacci, con logo, o che sia qualsiasi altra cosa. There we are. Go euro. So yeah, euro is selling off from this fair value gap. If I go into the M5, you will see a very nice order block. This is good. Fair value gap here. The reason why I'm not in this trade is because my bias is actually bullish. So I try not to take shorts unless there is like a lot of range. So in this case, in GBP yesterday, I took two shorts. I took one here and one till previous day's low, which is from here to here. And the reason why I took those is because we were working on a range of 69 pips. 69. In euro, we are not having that much of a range. So yeah, this is a phenomenal trade. But I mean, it's against my bias. So I'll have to wait. This is the London low. I'll mark it because hello low. But at the end of the day, we will go back here because it's cleaner. So yeah, the auto block on the H1, it gave a bounce, but that's pretty much it. So if this one had a fair value gap, I think we would have went higher already because it's much stronger. And all we did on the H1 was immediate rebalance to this order block. Hits it, now selling off. The opportunity was there, but I will miss. I miss trades too. I mean, everybody does. So who am I to not miss trades? Is there more action in the bond market? Wow, absolutely not. Other than 8:30, the spike higher, there's nothing. Got you, thank you. Perfect, man. Euro GBP in the mud again, in the middle of the range, because we went up, we went down, up, and now we are closing in it. Or around 50%, doesn't have to be precise. Such an ugly rally. Like when it goes like this very slowly, I hate it. But when it moves quickly, suddenly, that's when I'm like excited. I can't wait for the retracement to get in. But this is so slow. Now let's look what Dixie did. Only doing analysis here. So Dixie, interesting cookie. Fair value gap, daily BC, also old volume imbalance, which I will not mark because my thinking is we're gonna go here. Or you know what, I'll mark it, but it's gonna be very thin. So I'll call it VI high and low. And basically we hit that level and we started reversing. But the way we hit it is also important. You can see we went with a triple stop run in here. So we did first below the sell side liquidity first run, second run where we barely missed it, and then third run, and then we finally created a displacement coming back in fair value gap over the block, and we are sending it higher. On the daily though, all of this consolidation till the drop here, that's a market maker sell model. So given that it's a sell model, and I think we're gonna eventually go below these lows, I don't want to be a short seller because I know that the majority of the clean moves will be on the sell side for Dixie's, on the upside for GBP and Euro. So that's that's where you develop patience, because if you know exactly what you're looking for, you're not there always looking for patterns. I mean, you are still doing that technically, but you're doing that differently because you're doing that with a bias in mind. Silver bullet waiting room. Che vuol dire waiting? Sì, so che vuol dire waiting room, ma in che senso? È il silver bullet, sì, è la second distribution, al market maker sell model, sì, sì, quello sicuro. For the upside, only thing that I'm looking for is actually these two consecutive up candles that went into the daily level. And now since we moved away from it, the range I'm considering is from this high to this low, and you can see how technically OTE lines up with these levels, so this fair value gap plus the order block. Oh, okay. So this is basically 7.5. I don't have it marked because you can see it basically doesn't have to be there. And we will see if we get in here and then we start delivering with the sell side, then that means we will have high probability shorts in my opinion. And once we go through this level, I want to see price accelerate towards the complete, it's not the closure necessarily of the volume imbalance, but it's price hitting that, and then if it breaks it, I mean, it's gonna go for the closure in here. I know it's not enough range, but the concept here is fractal. So if this was a, say, a monthly chart, would have been the same, and you can frame it that way. But so far, we are in the left side of the curve if this ends up being a market maker sell model. So there's not much to do. Actually, it's potentially scalpable to the downside for euro, and I'll see what we can do there. No, that's something you almost never see. Up candle on Dixie, up candle on euro. That's fantastic. But yeah, let's see how this fair value gap can actually send us lower. I know it's not enough of a range, but it's better than nothing. Let me remove a few things in here. Nope. Where is it? Here. Okay. All right. So my expectation for now is to see this fair value gap actually work, because we are also inside of a breaker. We have this swing high and this one went higher, breaker, and this H1 imbalance should be completely filled. If price accelerates, the next level of interest is down here, which lines up with Dixie having that basically OTE. And we can do the same thing in here. I mean, difference between Dixie and Euro is pretty much none. And then we have our 62 or 79, and we have DPDA in here coupled with the order block. Now, if Dixie hits its bearish order block while Euro doesn't, it's still okay. I'm expecting there on SMT, and then if we can start delivering, Friday is gonna be interesting because yeah, we have lots of news for Euro. But so far, nothing there. So Euro is showing some strength compared to the pound. That means GBP/USD is moving flawlessly to the downside while Euro is resisting. Classic. Classic, classic, classic. Look at that. And now in this portion of price action here, there is nothing that needs rebalancing in my opinion. Same thing goes without saying in here. So the only thing that's logical to do, if price is really only doing the rebalancing to fair value and the running of stops for the purpose of liquidity, it doesn't make any sense that this one goes back higher. And if it does, it just proves how low probability the market is. But we are here to watch it. Tu hai bias sul cross Euro GBP? Sì, sì, il bias ce l'ho. Il bias è il seguente. Andando nel weekly, siamo andati sotto una sell side liquidity pool. I'm gonna do it in English if it's not a problem. So I got asked if I have a bias on Euro GBP, and I said yes, I do. And this is my bias. So on the weekly, we went below the sell side liquidity pool, hitting the bullish order block here, and we are now bouncing from it. My expectation is to see this imbalance challenged at least to 50%, if not a complete closure. This also lines up with the old imbalance in here, okay? So basically this level. So I'm expecting price to draw up there. And yeah, that's the bias so far. This bias means I'm gonna hold it till I'm clearly proven I'm wrong. And so far, if we analyze the daily, with the only PDA that we had in this range was the immediate rebalance. When we were up here, price slammed it down and it's reacting nicely. And this buy side liquidity pool has not been hit yet. So my bias for this one is actually bullish. But as soon as you have the bias, okay, it's fine, but you need to have also an entry technique in here. And in this I don't have anything. There's nothing that I can say, oh, this is clean. Because notice the difference between all of this that has swing high, then deep retracement, then it goes higher, but the only fair value gap is this one. This should be a mitigation block, but I don't like mitigation blocks. Compared to something like yesterday on GBP USD, where we had a nice reaction after we filled the daily BC, but it's not marked in this chart. We went higher with displacement, a fair value gap, a bullish order block, a breaker. As soon as we hit that once, we run the stops in here, immediate reaction, and I did take a trade here. I entered at 100 exactly, so 12700. Stop was at 40, and my take profit was at this low, and it was 54, I remember. So it was 54 is here. This is something I can trade easily, and it's a reversal trade because we hit the daily PDA, we moved away, and then we went higher. Compare this one, how clean it is, with clear drawn liquidity, to something like Euro GBP where it's not clean. To my eyes, maybe you can trade this. I personally can't with any consistency. All right. I'm afraid that the entire summer is gonna be like this. If it is, it's gonna be an issue. I'll only trade one session then. And while we are at it, if you have guys any question, just feel free to ask. I'll do the best to answer. Yep, yep. It's true. So for the English listeners, Trader Toa just mentioned how he had the bias, but news basically fucked up the market. And it's true. It's true. I mean, it's tough, especially when there is big decoupling. So every time Euro GBP has wild swings, you need to be very good at selecting the right market between Euro USD and GBP USD. Because otherwise, what happens is you get in the market that it's chopping around, and that's a bad experience. It's terrible. So, looks like we are going for the London low. Very slow. The cleanest moves will go to liquidity immediately. And the fact that we are spending so much time in here, that's a really red flag. That's telling me no, 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 no. When can we all visit you at your home in Italy for a group session? I'd say not, don't do it in summer because it's too hot. Um, maybe, I don't know. March? March works. March 2024, you're all invited. I will buy a big projector screen so everybody can see, and we go through Euro USD as long as Euro and USD don't have the black swan event everybody talks about, where we have central bank currencies and we are all fucked. The Spanish Steps? Where is that, in Rome? I have no idea what you're talking about. Spanish Steps. Yeah, that's in Rome. Oh yeah, I've been there. I just didn't call it that way. Yeah, I've been there twice. It's beautiful. Let's show it to everybody. Spanish Steps. Yeah, see you there. Rome is beautiful, but the food is even better. Especially pasta there. You wanna go along Euro GPY now? Okay, let me check it. I'll load it on hand, it's fine. I never look at this pair, but surely it's bullish. Oh well, yeah, you've been around good. Listen, about the Spanish steps. So, you English people call roller coasters, you call them like that, roller coasters. We Italians call them Russian mountains. Doesn't make any sense. So basically it's montagne russe. So why should Russian mountains be like that? I don't know, but you just call them roller coaster. It makes more sense to me, your language at times. But then when it's raining cats and dogs, I don't get it. Going back to Euro JPY, let's do top analysis, the quickest, super quickly. Okay, imbalance here. This is gonna be invisible in the other time frames, I'm sure. So we go current and below. Yeah, exactly. That's the roller coaster. So this is pulling higher. And the weekly range still didn't expand that much, not compared to 500 pips last time. On the daily, okay, we just validated this order block going through from the daily BC. And then H4, we never hit the fair value gap. In here, we went back into the order block. This is a tough call for the order block. Okay, and the H2 is a little bit cleaner. With the fair value gap, that's good. And now, well, yeah, if I had to pick one, I'd say longs over shorts. But again, to me, it's not too clean. I mean, if it traces with a stop down here, that's a potentially good entry. You can get 2R like that, probably. Say in here because of the BPR. No, that's 1.7. So, well, if I had to take one trade, it has to be a deeper run lower, maybe into consequent encroachment of this that lines up with the order block. If not, don't care to take it. I have no idea what it means, FVG locale. Like, locale meaning what? The most recent one, this one? So basically, this one. Prendo quella a sinistra. Quella a sinistra. Se mi dici gli orari mi viene più semplice a capire, perché per value gap ne vedo un po'. C'è un po', c'è questo qui giù e questo qui su. Se dici quella a sinistra come BPR qui, mi sta pure bene. Ok, Euro finally starts. Pressing lower. Esatto, ok. Sì, 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 il BPR, ok, ok. Balanced price range. Yeah, fair enough. And stop below the low? Or where? Because at the end of the day, what did we do? We just retraced in the range and now expanding again. So basically internal range liquidity to external being up here. But since we have the drone liquidity being all the way up there, we can expect a little bit of a run higher. And if you're an intraday trader, you collapse everything probably by London close and you're good. Sul full fill del BPR. Quindi praticamente la stessa cosa della chiusura M15. The same thing basically. Oh well, we will see it together. I'm gonna have an alert at 150 maybe. And then I'll monitor it again. No del fair value. Scusa, non è la stessa cosa. In questo caso. Cioè la differenza qual è? 67 con 73. Cioè ti cambia di 0.6 pips. Dixie is finally going. Yay! And it's approaching that level. Which doesn't make any sense in here, but it makes sense on the M15. Ah no, ho capito, ho capito. Now, I want to discuss a little bit about GBP USD because I think it can be interesting to watch it. On the daily, let me remove everything. I'll be extremely quick in doing it. So, daily BC is completely filled. We hit it. And now, this created a wick. And this wick, we can mark 50%. And this level should be sensitive if bullish. If we breach this level, I don't really see price going higher now. And can actually go deeper into it, which is not good if you are a bullish GBP USD trader right now. I can see also how we completely fill the H4 imbalance. I will just mark this point. I want to see it close above it. And the reason why I'm bringing this up is because we hit it now. And at the end of the day, when it came back in, this is just equal lows because a one pip stop run is not the greatest. It's you wanna see a little bit more, maybe 3 to 10. So for now, I'll just mark this one like this. Bond market pressing lower. I don't see the bearish SMT in here. No, they didn't do it. So good there. And Dixie almost hit the level to the upside. And now we will see. We are 50 minutes away from Powell speaking. I don't know why the consequent encroachment is not here. And it's completely wrong. It's here. And I want to have this visible in all the time frames. Good. Great. Perfect. Mm-hmm. Okay. While I'm at it, let me check your Euro JPY. I did it on Wanda. Yay. So we'll keep it here. I'll remove the sessions because I can see it's cluttered. And we just wait patiently. We patiently wait. And this one goes back to 3. Indices in a range still. And this basically hits 62. Not that it's extremely important, but just worth noting. Let me have this in the middle so it doesn't bother us. Okay. And if you're asking why did you pull the fib from this order block or this swing, this low, it's because on the M15 it makes sense and this is energetic. This being energetic to me has my attention. And I'm taking the range from this because we finally moved away from the weekly CB, so now in my opinion, we are dealing here. So below 50 we are in a discount. My god, double clicked. I think you are filled in Euro GPY, or you'll soon be. It's going in. $97.06. Okay. It's so hot in here. So I guess your entry should be around 70. Do you account for spread? I mean, I don't know where you are trading. If with easy markets the spread is very low. If we are with a prop firm, maybe it's a little bit higher, especially on Euro JPY. It's for entries only. No, 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 no. Okay. Let me quickly go on Discord. You long. On. Okay, fair. Okay. Me in 2020, yeah, when I first began, I was only trading H1 setups, and this was one of them. I mean, the classic 62% retracement level. My stop would be down here, and then price would go higher. This is still strong in my opinion, especially when you don't see a reason for the reversal. And to be frank, I don't see it. I don't see it because in euro, I don't think we hit anything that meaningful to say, oh, it's going to reverse now. Now, sure, we do have this bullish order block, but it doesn't have any fair value gap associated with it. So you know what? I'll mark it, but it's going to be... I'll mark it because I want to see this being breached. And just would be easy enough. Minus would be. So we will see what happens now. We shall see. Okay. Now, for the Euro USD long to really work, or at least to work nicely with a low resistance liquidity run, what we need is Euro GBP to either consolidate or move higher. If it stays in this range, it's all good. No problem at all. If it starts selling off, even though Dixie can be bearish, it's gonna have a hard time going, and it's gonna be super slow. This is a pretty nice reaction at the weak consequent encroachment. The weak comes in at basically 80, and the low here is at 76, basically 4 pips off. Nobody cares about that. Okay. Well, I don't see anything in bonds too, so not that much sponsorship, but maybe we'll see something for Powell. That's gonna be in 40 minutes. It's gonna be a long time to wait, but I have nothing else better to do. Back to the chat. Sorry, I was not reading it. I forgot. Terrible YouTuber. Toa said I entered at 107 on Euro JPY, which is here. Okay. I mean, I finally filled it completely. And we see what Euro is about to do. I mean, of course, if you have some Euro USD strength, most likely Euro JPY will work as well, because I mean, it's the same currency, it's still Euro. On Euro, H4 and H12, it does have a fair value gap. I'm expecting you're talking about Euro, but let me check. No, I don't care about this one, to be fair. It's I see that the market can bounce from it, but it's just a minor retracement before they move higher till we hit some major level. And yeah, I don't see it reversing. So I mean, yeah, sure, this trade here could have justified the short on euro here because we hit it, we broke down fair value gap here to here. That's a short because you're doing it basically from premium of the range to discount of the range. So that's a good one. Vado a fumare, se non mi dà la lezione la catto. Now, the worst thing that can happen is for the bulls is prominent, prominent, so British. So the worst thing that can happen now is this fair value gap to work. Ideally, if this is the true reversal point, this fair value gap should fail, go above it, and then use it as support in an ideal world. But we don't live in such a world. And we also went 10 pips below the London's low. And it does make sense in my head. Why? It does make sense because we have news in New York. So the low of the day, if it's not forming in London, and this didn't prove it was forming in London because the run was not energetic, we can actually sweep that in the absence of a fair value gap in here. And the absence of the fair value gap can be seen here. It all went straight up. So when the fair value gap is missing, I'm always expecting the low to be taken, as I mentioned previously. And I consider this one a raid and not a break of structure, simply because as I analyze the market, I don't see anything on the left that's meaningful. So yeah, that's my 2 cents on it. And I'll have I don't want to mark anything. I want the charts to be as clean as possible. And I'm only taking this 10 because that's when Powell will begin his speech. It's also worth noting that trading long in here now, to me, it's uncertain. I much prefer to see bearish PDAs, even in the lower time frame. As long as I have the higher time frame narrative, the lower time frames will help a lot. And if the fair value gap here is breached, it's clearly telling me, listen, the market doesn't want to go lower. We're breaching PDAs. It's gonna go higher. Sì, 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 certo che ha influenza. Ha influenza perché Euro e JPY praticamente formano Dixie. Ti faccio vedere. I'll show you. Okay, and I'll paste it here. So basically, what you see in Dixie is just this. So if Powell speaks, it will definitely affect the euro and it will affect the Japanese yen with the sterling pound. I'm sorry, but when I start speaking too much, my voice just disappears. So when you see Dixie, it's not really the currency, it's the index. So yeah, it's gonna affect both. And you'll see it most likely. I mean, in 35 minutes, if I'm wrong, we'll see it here. But we can actually do it from yesterday, no? This is 10. Puoi scrivere anche su Google Dixie Basket e lo vedi, la percentuale e tutta la storia. So basically this is 10 and yeah, you can see it did affect price 30 pips higher and then of course the Hilton ended, so it went very slowly to the upside. But we can also go back, I don't know, 8:30 somewhere. Yeah, by the way, yeah, it definitely makes the market move. But so far so good, so don't be stressed. If you can see this fair value gap being overlapped completely, I mean, odds are we're gonna go above it. Mhm. 7 people watching now. That's good. Mm. Burj Khalifa? What? I have 5 tabs of it open, so you look popular. 5 of them. That's very kind of you. Can you do 10? 2 minutes and indices will open. Okay, equities will open, not necessarily indices. Yeah. This is a pretty ugly chart. I can see this trendline liquidity being built, and the market has been bullish for a long time now. But let's do analysis here for a second. We are working inside this weekly CB. So in my opinion, now that we fully filled it, we can easily go back to the bottom part, just like we did on another currency pair that I will show you now. Actually, it's euro, but we went up and then down to it, and then whatever we do from here, that's gonna be important because this should be a brick wall. So expectation is just like support and resistance. If we break it, we go lower, and if we break it to the upside, we should be going higher if retested. Okay, super simple, nothing complicated at all. I don't believe in extra how do you say, complexity? Yeah. Euro did exactly the same thing. Let me show you here. It went into it, then it came back down, retesting it, and then it's moving again higher. And on the daily, that's what we see. Let me quickly remove this one. I will add it back. We filled it. We never broke above it with enough strength. We came back in. Okay, that's not what I wanted to show. We came back in with the daily BC. The weekly, you can see the bodies stay within the range, and then poof, we finally exploded. So that's the same concept in here is applicable to ES. But now that you opened, just to have some entertainment, we see what's up there. Let me mark the most prominent highs. And I have this one here, this one here, and this one here. Ok, gli metti a B così news e part. Ok, let's see. Well, it's going well so far, see? Yeah, this fair value gap was the last one, and yeah, that's the order block. I don't trade this pair, so I'm not in it, but so far so good. It looks perfect. So congratulations for your trade. Is euro showing some strength? Well, not even so much. That just means JPY is weaker than USD. This we can remove. Okay. What I like in here for bullishness, so far I'm liking it. Why? We created the CB, we went into it, and instead of immediately selling off, we are spending some time in here, and now we're using the bottom portion of it. Io mi ci trovo bene rispetto ai concetti che ho studiato. Yeah, I'm sure. It's just I don't want to focus on too many pairs. If I have to execute, I want to stay on Euro USD, GBP USD, and Euro GPY, and that's already a lot, especially when in the lower time frame. If I were to trade the H1 chart, I'd easily have 5 to 8 pairs that I can easily monitor. But I'm not that guy. I like lower time frame. I see opportunity every single day, so it makes sense for me to do that. Also, I don't like to hold trades for very long. I mean, I'm not saying 10 minutes, but I'm many times done within the session or from one session to the other. So my average holding time is way less than 4 hours. And even knowing that, I don't like using the M1 chart. I know there are people that do very well with it, but that's not me. That's absolutely not me. If I have to go lower time frame, I'll go into the M5. But if I see the setup on the M15, it's so much better. And this Euro GPY of yours on the M15 had it's not the perfectly clean, it's good. But on the M5 it was actually flawless. Yeah, good. Yeah, M1 invalidation is just, in my opinion, stupid. Because the market, just based on volatility, will take your stop loss, and then maybe you were right all along about your trade. So the stop loss placement needs to be in a logical place, but not based on the M1. So in here, I have no problem if I were to take this trade having a stop down here or down here, because the displacement is good enough. Okay. We are trying. 25 minutes to Powell speaking. We gotta find something entertaining to do. For execution, I use M5, M15, and H1. No problem with those three. Of course, if I have a bigger target, H1 entry makes sense. If I want to scalp, M5 is my best ally. M15 is for clean day trades. Just like yesterday on GBP, that was, in my opinion, extremely clean. This trade here, with the fair value gap and everything. Order block entered at 127.00, basically exactly at the order block plus the spread, and it went flawlessly. Straight to the P. I mean, not straight, because it went higher, then I took some drawdown and then it went. But overall, it was a clean trade. Executed perfectly, as my plan states, so that's all it matters. I don't even know why I'm looking at USD CAD here. Let's go back to Dixie. But in a cleaner chart, so capital.com will do. We mark the same level of interest that we had previously. And yeah. My drawn liquidity for Euro JPY, Euro GBP is up here. Euro USD ha preso il PM session liquidity. Il PM session? Che orari sono il PM session per te? No, io non li guardo su Forex. Completamente. Sì, sì, ho capito. No, no. Sugli indici va bene, su Forex non li guardo. Per una semplice questione di volume. So, let's see. Volume. Euro USD, Wanda. This area here, like you mentioned, 19.30-22, which means 16 going back to 13.30. So this area, 13.30 is here, 16 is here. Il volume is quite low in here compared to the major sessions. So that's why I don't do it. I don't personally care that much. But if we do analysis on the same concept, exactly the same on, say, ES, it does make a difference. I mean, it's basically wrong here. 16 to 13. The volume, it's where it's at. In the 24-hour cycle, actually a little bit less, probably 23 in this market. This has still high volume compared to the London one, okay? So I just focus on the liquidity of the major sessions, or basically kill zone, you can call them whatever. Let's go back to indices. Okay, this is cool. We are seeing Nasdaq going higher, taking the buy side liquidity, while ES is failing to do that, and Dow is showing the way. So now it's super easy to see where the liquidity is. And it's of course below this low, but it just spiked higher immediately. That's crazy. Was it an error? No, no error. Maybe it's Powell saying something. Wanna see? There was no news. So somebody must have says, okay, it's going back down. I don't know if it's data error or this is actually real, but it went so quickly, it was crazy. But again, doesn't make the difference. The sell stops in here, in my opinion, are next. But my opinion doesn't count anything because I don't have a trade on. If I did, my opinion had a little bit of weight. So slow. Hopefully this value gap just makes price pop. Let's see here. Equal lows. Are you still good? We still don't know if this fair value gap is going to actually work and send us lower, or will be breached and maybe used as support later. We are still waiting for that. So a little bit of strength for euro compared to the pound. And if this short on euro ends up working, we basically have two optimal trade entries back to back. From this high to this low, we hit it 62 in here perfectly. And we will be doing the same here, 62 perfectly. And if it goes lower, that's basically two OTs in a row. This area in here on Dixie, this one has a fair value gap, but we don't see any in both GBP. Because I mean, this is one, yeah, sure, but it's tiny, don't care, not prominent. And this one doesn't have any, so that's something worth noting. And yes, is going back up instead of going for the low. That's amazing. Nasdaq, let's not even talk about it. I think today there's going to be earnings of Nvidia, so I don't know exactly what time, probably post the close of the market, but that usually tends to really make the market move because it's a big earner, Nvidia. Bum, bum, ba-da-ba-dum, bum, da-da. Where's OBS? Okay. Been live for 1 hour and 30 minutes. Wow, time flies. even with slow price action. Okay, looks like euro is trying to push and finally close above it. Let's see what happens here. Now let's play some scenarios in our head, okay? I'll have to remove this one and go to Euro USD. Again, I'll use Rwanda because I think it should be clean. Okay. Now let's play some scenarios in our mind. We already run the stops, okay? If we have energy and then we come back into it, then we can have something like this. Trading in here, while it's the highest return in pips, is not that much high probability compared to seeing the displacement after the raid and then trading in line till the intraday drawn liquidity and potentially even higher if Dixie wants to completely close its daily BC. Okay, so this is Dixie in here. If Dixie actually goes below this low and completely fill everything, then of course you expect Euro to go past his high and go a little bit higher, potentially to, I don't have anything marked in here, but I'd say 145 is good as a level, because in that case we'd be completely filling the H12 gap here. Like here, and in this broker it's 142, so let's say 140. Yeah, New York reversal would be ideal, and everything would begin from the OTE basically, from this low, which on the M15 makes sense, to this high, we just hit 62 and poof, we went higher. Targhette colorate in alto, ok. Uso Brave come browser perché l'applicazione di TradingView fa letteralmente schifo e semplicemente faccio questo, guarda. Vado qui, puoi andare su qualsiasi tab, clicchi col destro e puoi fare Add Tab to Group, puoi fare New Group e poi ti fa selezionare il colore. Poi ho impostato Brave che mi apre sempre le stesse schermate, così rimane sempre. Yes, down con le news, bet, ok. Va bene Ciccio, vediamo. C'è l'applicazione di TradingView che ha pure l'opzione di mettere i colori nelle tab, però c'è un bug, non mi piace usarla, tutto qui. E poi è molto più lenta. E il mio PC è abbastanza buono e va comunque a scatti. Fa davvero schifo l'app. Da browser è meglio. Let's see if our friend trader Toa is making money or not. I'm just kidding. I'm potentially pressuring you for nothing, but the entry is good. Congratulations on that. We will see what happens. Brave is a great browser. Do you use it? I only use it for TradingView. Cheers, Oko. Bye bye. Spend a nice evening with your family and yeah, enjoy it. Thank you for staying. Bye bye. Yeah, 10 minutes. See ya. Oh, nice to know. I use Chrome, but I'm a crazy person, so. We've taken some trades before, but I don't see a probably set of MC and G will not kill some because I was distracted. Now I'm getting the time by election waiting for that. 10 minutes, guys. All of this wait, it's finally coming to an end. Imagine how fun it would be if price just stalls and doesn't do anything, even if Powell is testifying. That would be a wasted afternoon. Okay. Now, let me go back in here that it's clean. These order block on the lower time frame being breached, it's a good sign. So I want to see price go past it. And that would be indicative of a market that potentially turned around in here and now wants to find higher prices. Let me check at the daily last time. Yeah, we're pretty much mixed. We are not too bearish, we're not too bullish. We are mixed so far. But really, what the bias was given was taken from is Dixie going into the 2 consecutive up candles in here with the fair value gap, doing the OTE thing, running the stops, and we don't do pips in Dixie, but in here from the London low to the low, we went basically 11 pips lower, which we can round up to 10, and that's a decent sweep. Of course, we don't have any confirmation that this market has really turned. So far on the M5, it's showing that, but I want to see more displacement because in here we saw the market turning, but no displacement. Once I see the displacement, I have better odds of knowing where the market is going. This in here is just chop, doesn't mean much. "12 charts, not showing much." Okay. So trading really is a waiting game. You just sit here. You can be in love with price action, but you still gotta have to sit down and wait for the high probability. When it's there, you strike. If it's not there, there's nothing you can do. Unless you want to lose money, of course. If that's your goal, you can do it every single minute of the trading day. So boys, for the one that are following, and if there are girls in the stream, I'm sorry I called everyone boys. What are you looking at? I know that Toa is just watching Euro GPY, but he's at break even, so you should be safe. But what about the rest of you? And by the way, 5 minutes, and Powell will start testifying. Customers. Oh, nice. Okay. That's nice to see. Price is finally going. So far, Euro GBY was a better trade than Euro USD long. So far. In terms of pips, of course, Euro GBY is going to move much more compared to Euro because USD is not that volatile. It's the most liquid currency, so since it's that liquid, it doesn't move as much as others. You really need a lot of capital to make Euro and GBP and JPY move. Euro more so than the others. NQ H1CB. Yeah, order block plus CB. Yep. I'll quickly mark it. OB and the CB. Okay. But my focus for now is on Forex. Two minutes, come on. One minute. Is everybody ready? It's gonna happen. And there we are. We never broke this order block, so this is not great. Also on the H1 we can see there is a bigger one. Actually it's not even here. What is it on the M15? M30? Whatever. Well, oh, it loaded the M30 for no reason, but anyway. GBP so far created the perfect reversal point at the consequent encroachment of the daily wick. And now it's all about breaking above again. Gotta breach this order block. And if it's then a nice displacement, on a retracement, I'll look for longs. Other than that, there's not much I can do. You just have to wait. Mhm. Come on, Powell, do your thing. We also had some news about some news on dollar existing home sales, and the number is positive. But we will see what that means in the market. If we go above this level, then I don't see much. I mean, can we really go above here again? That's not exactly what I want to see. In terms of premium and discount, it makes sense, of course, because from this high to this low, equilibrium is here, so we can actually go up here, but that's not what I'd like to see. Also because on the H4 we finally filled this one to the, not to the tick, but we went into it, filled it, so my idea didn't change. This fair value gap here, and actually this breaker, which was never hit, because we have this high, this low, this higher high that goes into the resistance and drops. That's, I want to see it reverse here, that's all I want. And if I can see that, then I'll pyramid to my position, because I already have a long entry which I gave in the group, the Discord group. And that's exactly at basically 700 is 698. So down here, that's when I entered long based on the 62 and the level being hit in here. You can see when this one was hit, I clicked buy on euro, and then the next candle on Dixie started selling off, while this one went a little bit lower and then moved. So if I were trading Dixie, I'd have a perfect entry, but it's not perfect because this went a little bit lower, but it's very good nonetheless. That's why mainly I want to see price going higher, because I mean now I'm long because I'm bullish. But if there is another opportunity on the lower time frame, I will add to my position, and then potentially I can make, I don't know, maybe 3R, 4R, if I can find a 2R in here and a 2R from this trade. We'll see. Powell, portami sulla luna. Yeah, Powell is bringing us the moon for real. Improve the volume here. It's not necessary. So that's working. Good, great. And if Euro USD accelerate to the upside, this Euro JPY of yours will explode. And yeah, we have a lot of range to potentially cover. Go, Powell. I'm starting to think that long live streams are not actually the smartest of ideas because it can be quite boring, and then I feel the need to entertain the people that are watching. So maybe shorter live stream will actually do it next time. But yeah, euro selling off, boring. I'll remove this one. This one can actually be removed too. This shaded area that you see is the H4 BC in GBP. It's this imbalance right here that we now completely filled. So that's why it's marked. And from there we hit the lower portion, we went higher, we went above it. And now this red lines is the H1 imbalance inside of these H4. So these levels can actually give you nice confluences, setups, and displacements away. So we'll see. Yeah, look at this Euro GBY, finally. And now that I see it better, relative strength actually helped a lot because this went lower while this one failed to go lower in here. So of course this is going to be stronger compared than Euro USD, but again, I don't trade it, so nothing I can do there. I will not change my trading plan that works beautifully fine for a potential good trade on another asset, which I don't even look at and I didn't even do analysis. How many are we? We're still 7. That's nice. 7 people. Probably Powell fell asleep this morning. Oh, he's not saying anything, looks like. Let me check on YouTube if it's live. Powell. Yeah, it's live.
Too fast. They made risky bets. They got massive profits. Executives were paying themselves bonuses right up until the moment that at least one of these banks crashed. To most Americans, that's not surprising. People have gotten all too used to big bankers treating the industry more like a game, or maybe more precisely, an endless ATM for themselves, secure in the knowledge they won't pay any real price if things go wrong. Mr. Chairman, as Senator Scott and I teamed up on a 21-2 vote yesterday, those days for bank executives are over. Chair Powell, I look forward to hearing today how the Fed will protect American workers in the fight against inflation and promote an economy with a strong, growing middle class. Senator Scott.
Thank you, Chairman. Chair Powell, thanks for joining us today. Such an important time. Your last appearance before this committee was about 4 months ago, just days before the collapse of 2 banks. And while we continue to investigate those bank failures, it's important to examine the macro factors such as rising interest rates that contributed to the bank failures and the current economic stresses American families face every single day. Looking through the lens, I want to turn to you.
Yeah, I couldn't care less what to talk about. I tried to listen to it, I don't care. Yeah, Silicon Valley Bank failed, so what? Actually, the day it failed, the dollar rallied. Because you can see it on Euro, the day that they announced, oh, it's the end of the world, Silicon Valley, it was this day, on the 15th of March, and you can see how Dixie actually went higher that day. Of course, it went into a fair value gap, a volume imbalance, which was barely missed. But from this high to this low to this high, this is also a breaker, so it makes sense that it didn't go further. And yeah, and then it broke down and it never came back up there, since then the smart money reversal appear. But we are focused on the intraday volatility, which is hard to say when it's not volatile, but so far so good. Euro GPY flying, good for TOA. Let me actually check gold. Gold is selling off. Wow. Gold is definitely selling off. And yeah, you see Euro GPY, but really it's gold. It's XAU against the dollar. On the weekly, we didn't even take external range, but we did here. So this is internal range, and that's where it's delivering inside. We have a nice CB and a BC. I mean, this area is interesting to me. But yeah, this lower is definitely not helping currencies, because if this goes lower, it's easier for dollar to rally. But dollar is also not rallying, so I don't know what it's doing. Same thing for bonds. Bonds selling off doesn't really help currencies go higher. US bonds, I'm talking about. So far the cleanest has been indices, because we have the raid on the sell side, liquidity here on the Nasdaq, but then we moved so quickly I don't even know. Well, there is an entry. The entry is basically here, and your stop has to be down here, and that's working nicely. Now everything is accelerating, and euro is going higher too. That's great to see. Euro GPY is ready to go for the buy side liquidity, looks like. So you see that too. Are you guys in any trades right now? Almost there, Toa. Almost there. Do you have a take profit? So close. Okay. Now, what I'd like to see is to see an M5 for value gap formation now that we broke above this order block. That's ideally what I'd like to see, but it looks like it's not forming that because we are delivering so quickly to the downside. But we broke the bullish order block, bearish order block in here, which now on the other side of the curve can actually be used as a point of mitigation. So that's great to see. Okay. This is ugly. Let me remove it on this time frame. I want to only see it on the M15 downwards. You can see how this fair value gap, now that we went into a discount array, it didn't deliver. Actually, it went into it, and that's okay. Then it went into it again, then it completely rebalanced it, then it went in, then it went out, then it went in. This is now support. Il resto cerco di farlo runnare perché hai già preso un parziale, forse non l'hai scritto. Fino alle 18. Fino alle 18, quindi fine Killzone. Va bene, ci sta. Ognuno ha il proprio piano. Mamma mia che price action lenta. Con tutto Powell. Ora vado al mare. No fair value gap formation. That's not great. And the fact that it's not forming the fair value gap, it's very telling that the market is probably not ready yet. If it were, like in here, when it's ready to drop, it created the fair value gaps. We went into it. Majority of the volume was in here and we sold off. GU M15 molto tricky. Ma sì, terribile. Terribile. Inutile. Waste of time. Non c'è nulla in questa price action che mi dica, ah ok, rischia dei soldi completamente. Su euro è già un po' meglio, anche se non è il massimo. Esatto, 50-50. Ma anche, cioè sì, 50-50 è letteralmente un coin flip. Infatti non sto dicendo nulla su GBP proprio per questo. Let's, I don't know, vediamo USD CAD. CAD is moving, that's good. CAD is moving somewhat nicely. Equal lows, we rated the highs, we came back in to the order block in here. H1 has this fair value gap here. So we hit it once, twice, 3 times, and now we are selling off. This is a little bit better, but again, I don't see any particular entry in here, nothing that I like. In 40 minutes, I will be done with the live stream because I have stuff to do. Then I will have a review, take a walk. Nah, it's even selling off now. Yeah, we have this low price action also because bonds are not moving. You can see we've been stuck in a range for a long time, so When they move nicely, like in here, see from May, basically the entirety of May, we had clean price action in here, pressing lower and lower and lower, also in the lower time frames. Now we are stuck, and we see that very, very evidently. Yeah, sometimes like that. Pointless. This is cool now. Yes, finally went. Closed imbalance on the H1. Hit the order block. So this is cool. I think it's better if we look at yes for now. And let's build some context. We completely filled imbalance. And now we created this M1 fair value gap. And yeah, M1 I like to use in indices more than Forex. And now we will see how it delivers. If it delivers nicely and comes back in, it's a good short opportunity in my opinion. And we can easily target these lows. But we'll see. This can actually be removed. I'll also share it in the group. It's like a this is something really worth noting. Now that we hit this level, now it needs to really go quickly. Because we went into it, we rebalanced it. Now we went into it just for the fair value gap in the order block, which I'd also argue really the order block is not even these two candles, but it's more of these two. Now that we did that, we need to go. And if we use the 22 model that ICT gave, only using from a premium to a discount, below 50, we have this low. So that's a potential trade. From this fair value gap, stop at the high and down in here. This is a decent one, 154. It's great for a scalp. But Powell speaking doesn't make it super high probability, but we will see. In my opinion, it can easily do that now. Because now that we feel these, we ran the stops in here, we feel the imbalance, we hit the daily volume imbalance, we have equal lows. That's pretty good. Now, this order block here is basically on a high on NQ. So maybe it needs another tap above it and then break down, and that's where I'm looking for the SMT to unfold. But we mentioned quick move here, so let's see if it can print. Looks like it's doing that. Are you guys with me? So comparing the three, the weakest is Dow. This is the strongest. You can see how this candle, the close was just at the low, while this one went even below, and this one went through it with more speed. But yeah, pretty slow. Not gonna lie. See the difference in delivery? If you were short in this one, you'd be making money. In this one, you'd be basically a break even. In this one, you'd be a losing trader. Because strong. Relative strength is a big part of my trading. If I don't see the strength or the weakness, it's really hard to have great trades. Potentially, the PM trend will offer better opportunities, but I mean, I will not be at for the PM trend active at all. Now let's try to look at the positives today. The positives are that given the lack of a displacement, we really didn't get in any loss. We're not trading randomly, we're waiting for the displacement, and at least that's what I'm doing. In the absence of it, I took a trade here, sure, at remember what's the level, 60, 96 here. I'm currently long, but if it comes back in, I'll close it because it shouldn't really go there, in my opinion. The only thing that I'll accept is maybe Dixie going a little bit higher into this imbalance. If it does that and it doesn't go past it, then it's all good. This is the last bit of resistance before selling off. It doesn't do that, I'm done. You can also see how even this one is technically failing because it went below it and then it's resisting again. Very slow, but we do have SMT right here. If you see it, this high compared to this one, this went higher, this went higher, this one is failing. It doesn't mean anything, and that's why I do my very best to avoid the M1 because the price action is different. Price is fractal till it isn't, and on the M1 is less fractal than say the M5 compared to the M15. Disappointing PA. Because we hit the level in here, we broke down. Then this was too slow. Too slow. Okay, Dixie inside of this imbalance. Only thing that Euro really has is the order block, but I don't really like order blocks without fair value gaps. So that's the only thing we can really monitor. But at this point, it looks like it's gonna maybe breach it. I mean, we are in here together to see it. Euro GBY finally went above the eye. So yeah, that was a nice trade. Stop here, target up here. That's a nice 2R. Congratulations. As a bare minimum 2R, I think. So that's nice. The order block in here, I want to highlight only the body. So, at the same time, Euro is hitting the order block in here. Dixie is hitting this fair value gap, and GBP is doing the order block plus the fair value gap. So if we need to find a place where price can actually reverse, now that we have everything in sync, this is it. If it doesn't do it, yeah, yes, clearly went higher. It actually used the H1 fair value gap as support and selling is going higher. Terrible to see. It's too hot in my office. I guess I'll probably stop the recording in a bit and be done with today. Pretty unlucky day, I must say, because I had a Euro GBP short that actually went 3R in my direction, but I had to close it. And yeah, not much else to say. Good thing is, on shitty days, not losing any money, it's fantastic. Euro GBY is keeping on pressing. I want to actually check USD GBY now. Yeah, that's moving even more than Euro. Crazy. But this range, my God. We have all of this imbalance to feel. The trade was there. Yeah, I can see it. Equal lows, taken, breaker inside of the gap. Spools higher, comes back in. Bullish breaker. And off we go. 54 pips to the upside. That's beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Yeah. Euro didn't go, but I thought it would. Sharing it with the group. 83. Pretty sad days. Okay. Routine. Came back to entry. And this is done. So yeah, apparently the euro short was the call, and it went back into the order block and it sold off. Yeah, I mean, this is technically a OTE running out the stops, filling the imbalance. There were ways to enter on the M1. Once we took the high and we came back into the range and we broke below this H1 for value gap, this was the short, 12 pips, that was great. ES still doing whatever it wants to do, basically nothing. So I guess I will end the stream here because I don't have anything else to see. Congratulations on Trader Toa for the trade on Euro JPY. He said he will make it run till 12. So good luck to him. The best asset today was anything related to JPY. Not so much the rest. And this is clearly a scalper market, which I am not. So I don't have much to do. You can also see how this for value gap here beautifully sent price higher. Equal lows. And then I'm sure there's going to be a second distribution. Yeah. First, second, last rally. Well, it's one for the books. Guys, I'm gonna stop the recording now, the live stream actually, and see you the next time. Bye bye. Thank you for staying.